Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back with just a little bit more of our extension of Spooky Month, because why the hell not? Last week we watched Witch, which was not as spooky as the title might have suggested, but this week we have things that actual spooky stuff happens with Martin Mystery. Anyone remember that one?
No.
Nope. Yeah, and I would also say spooky is debatable.
Okay, like, you know,
The thumbnails were creepy.
child-friendly spooky. Maybe.
Gross. More like it.
Okay, yeah, it was definitely gross. So this is kind of like X-Files for kids. It's like baby's first cryptid, a little bit. So this, I should mention real quick, I did get a short text from Chibi that although they won't be able to join us, they said that the show was okay, but Martin was annoying. I can agree with that pretty much.
That's accurate.
Yeah. So I've seen this show before. Cozy, you said you saw this show before?
Yes, and Chibi had seen it before.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she was really excited for this.
I thought so too. That was the sense I got.
I mean,
Maybe she remembered it being better than it was.
I'll get to my opinion on that, but like, why don't we get the opinions of some of the people who haven't seen it yet, or who have just seen it for the first time.
I will say this. I watched the first 3 episodes that, were listed. I feel like there was an episode that was missing, because literally this puts you right into this organization. Like, literally within the first 5 minutes, you get introduced to not even the concept of this world. You just get stuck straight into, oh, hey, this kid's got a watch that helps him solve cryptic mysteries, and he's with his, you don't find this out until the 3rd episode, his stepsister and a fucking caveman. And if that's not weird enough, there's an interdimensional alien that helps him out with a bunch of other aliens in a computer room, and a hot mom, acronym mom, that's trying to lead this organization to solve mysteries. And I'm thinking, okay, time out. Can you set this up? Who is this kid? How did he get in contact with all of this? You literally put us right into the middle of all this shit. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't need an explanation. Even if you did the opening credits explaining everything what's going on, but literally it just puts you right into, okay, yeah, they're on the mystery of the week. It's okay, well, can you set us up first before you do mystery of the week?
Didn't I say the same thing?
Oh, I think you did.
Why is there no backstory as to why any of this is happening, or how he got involved with this big organization?
I think in either season 2 or 3 there is an origin story
That's
episode.
too late.
Well, I mean, do you want the realistic answer?
It's because the comics he wasn't in the organization, right?
No, because they were trying to market this to children.
Yeah,
Children
exactly.
don't need backstory. They need an automatic hook.
I feel like in most children's shows there were backstory, though.
Sometimes,
yes.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm with Cozy on this. They want to jump straight to, you're here for the monsters and the goo and the silly goofiness. You don't need a ton of plot. Let's just jump in and go. And I mean, I think I don't want to say this was it got 3 seasons. But I don't want to be like, this was the most successful show, and I don't know that many people remember it that well.
But it's let's compare it to we watched Witch last week. They
Okay.
set it up. They explained everything.
But Witch has, even though it is also a Monster of the Week type show, it also has a very large overall arcing plot. Martin Mystery does not.
I guess.
SpongeBob had a pilot episode that set up the characters better.
Yeah, I agree.
Martin Mystery also is one of those shows that was made to sell something.
Mm-hmm.
Kids wanted that fucking watch.
Oh, you damn right I wanted that fucking watch.
I guess that's fair.
I made that, because I was 2003, I would have been, coming just... No, I still would have been in elementary school or something like that. Would I have been? My dates are all getting confused. No, wait. I'm at late elementary, early middle school, something like that. I feel like I made that watch and a bunch of, his little gadgets out of Legos or something. I was like, I want to do this.
I just feel I don't know. I do agree with Envy a lot on that. And I feel I don't even know that we need the organization. I feel it might have been more interesting if he was just a freelance guy. Maybe make him a little older, kind of like a Scooby-Doo situation or something. And yeah, sure, have the caveman or whatever for novelty. But it's like, and sure, the stepsister or whatever, who I guess was his fiance in the comics, worthy enough.
Hopefully that's not what happens in this show.
But yeah, I feel like maybe they should have been like their own little agency. I just think that the whole big like mom thing is completely unnecessary and very underexplained. And like, I don't know. I feel like
it's the Men in Black.
it's kind of
Everyone
just
knows the Men in Black.
it just
I
doesn't work
I
for
didn't
me.
need much. I literally just wanted to know how he came across this organization, this watch, how he got involved, and oh yeah, how he met a fucking caveman, who's best boy, by the way. I will say
Well,
that after
the organization had the caveman.
Yeah, they just accidentally unfroze him and then bonded with him.
Okay, I would have liked to have seen that, but
Well, go watch their origin story
Oh
episode.
my god, so we have to wait for season 3?
I
don't know.
forget.
Nothing's stopping you from just watching it out of order.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of this show. You don't have to watch it in any particular order.
But like I expect to.
There is no overarching plot line.
That's why I feel like origin story episode wouldn't, or even pilot wouldn't really work, because you would have to watch that episode, and that's not necessarily plausible if this is just an after school show. You
Mhm.
want to just be able to jump in. So that's why I think your idea of putting the info dump in the theme song is perfect.
I don't know. Every successful cartoon that I watched as a kid on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network had somewhat of a pilot episode in a rerun Saturday morning type of after-school show that set up the tone and the characters that you can go back and watch if you missed it and still get the idea what's going on.
Yeah,
That's just me.
I agree though.
I'm just thinking like Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents, like they give you the condensed version of the origin story. They tell you exactly what happened, and then you can just go into the episode.
Yeah, I feel like certain elements I found pretty okay, like the monsters and stuff. Okay, it was kind of fun. I think the little like episodic like what's happening is kind of fun, but I don't know. I kind of agree with Chibi that the main guy is pretty annoying. I thought the two supporting characters were fine, like the caveman, okay. And the girl, sure, I guess she worked, but
I have to admit, their bickering kind of got a little annoying after a while. It's like,
Yeah.
I get it, step siblings fight, but like literally almost every single interaction with them is them bickering at some point. It's like, we get it.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't
Yeah.
super fond of the characters. They were like, okay. But I don't know. I feel like I've seen everything that was good-ish in this show just done better in other shows. So I don't feel like there was anything that would really keep me watching. Because I might as well watch one of those better shows. Like Scooby-Doo. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm looking up the origin episode.
What if it just doesn't exist?
I remember
It does.
seeing.
Oh, okay.
He accidentally solves a mystery.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those situations of like he falls into an investigation by accident, pulls his stepsister along the way. They end up at the center. They unfreeze a caveman who they end up making friends with, and then they solve the mystery. And then at the end of it, the agency's just like, you know what? You're pretty good at this. Why don't you work for us?
Hired.
I feel like that could have been a fun
No,
first
it's not
episode.
because we can't afford to pay an adult.
I mean, yeah,
was
I don't know.
Really confused about, what's his name, like Turbo or something? Jet?
Turbo.
What's his name?
The alien or the caveman?
The caveman.
Java?
Java, that was it.
Just think of JavaScript.
I was really confused about him. I'm like, they have the lunch lady just along for the ride? What is going on here?
Dude's basically Wolverine with even less vocabulary. I would bring him along.
Yeah, why is,
Is
he
he
working at the
employed
school,
by
though?
the school?
Where
Yeah.
else is he gonna go?
He's undercover.
If you ever seen Venture Brothers, he's like Brock, but like way less murderous.
Interesting. You'd think he would just stay at the agency if that's where he was found. I don't know.
Nah,
yeah,
he
can
likes
stay
them.
with the other aliens.
No, he's attached to Diana and Martin.
He's sort of like a bodyguard,
He
I guess.
imprinted on them?
Yeah.
He imprinted.
I think they wanted to refreeze him.
I could
Not
see
Diana
that.
and Martin,
Yeah,
the organization.
I could see that happening. Look, we should probably talk about plot. There's not a lot of plot to talk about other than like what the episodes themselves are. We got a thing with the boogeyman and a bog monster boogeyman person.
Kidnapping all of the town's 2 children.
Classic Grimm's fairies tales kind of stuff. We got...
And lots of slime.
Oh, there's always slime. If there isn't slime, it's not a Martin Mystery episode. He's got to use his slime
so this
detector.
Was definitely on Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
Slime.
No, like that's one of
promotion.
Martin's things is how much he loves slime.
Yeah, he kind of gross. Then the one in the desert with the Alberta Badlands, which I actually found out were a real thing. I did not think there was a desert up in Canada, but I was wrong. And the prehistoric...
Why did you think there wasn't?
Well, like all people, all Americans who are terrible with geography, I just assumed it was all covered in snow. So, that's on me.
Yeah, no, their weather is pretty much the same as ours.
Anyway, the desert with the prehistoric mutated super insects created by the meteor, and then...
With also lots of goo.
And lots of goo. And then an entire goo monster, or sentient oil shaman powered crystal
Yeah, with a dash of
goo
racism.
monster. I'm having a lot of trouble.
Was that episode 3?
Yeah, episode
Yeah.
3, the thing about the oil slime thing.
Oh, I watched the wrong episode then.
Which one did you watch?
I watched the one with basically a siren at sea trapping in Norway.
Oh,
Huh, which one was that?
interesting.
Playlist
Yeah,
I had
let me
on
find the
YouTube
episode
was
list.
like really scrambled. I had to go on Wikipedia and look up like the episode order.
Yeah, I literally
Episode
typed in
list.
I literally typed in Martin Mystery episode 1, and then I got an official video that said episodes 1 through 3. So I guess that lied to me.
Dude, we
I wonder
found
if
these
this
easy.
had, like-
It was all on a playlist. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Maybe this is one of the thing where like different countries had different release orders.
That's possible, but like by the look of it, doesn't seem to like list a separate air date or like a changing thing.
I don't know. The episode I watched is when the three of them go to Norway and they get a siren that can transform into like a sea monster at some point. And, Martin and Jav are hypnotized by the siren. So it's up to the sister to help figure it out and stuff like that.
I'd like to point out that episode is called Shriek from Beyond, and they're in Newfoundland, which is in
Oh,
Canada.
excuse me.
They go to Newfoundland and Labrador, which is where the retrievers are from. That's actually not a joke. That's actually where they're from.
They called it Norway in the episode. So,
It's episode 9.
I'm trying to see if there's another episode where they go to Norway.
and I had to laugh my ass. I nearly laughed my ass off because they were. I know this is off track because it's technically the wrong episode, but I just have to bring this up because when will I ever bring this up again? They were comparing the story of the siren to the siren in Greek mythology, and they brought up the story of Odysseus from the Iliad. However, the way Martin pronounces it, he called him Odys.
Otis.
Odys.
Okay.
Yeah, Odys. So,
Well, it had to have had like different air date orders because on the Wikipedia it says Shriek from Beyond is episode 9.
Yeah.
But if you actually look up Shriek from Beyond, it has it listed as episode 5.
Weird. Well, we all saw the other ones in order for the most part. It kind of follows pretty much that like the police procedural kind of thing. We're gonna go to a place, investigate a thing real quick, be wrong about it, and then investigate it again, and then some other people get kidnapped, and then we find out what it actually is and find the special way to beat the bad guy this week. Very rinse and repeat, kind of your monster of the week kind of thing. But I think for the most part, from these episodes, I think they do a decent enough job of it, in my opinion. Any differing opinions there?
I mean, I didn't hate this show. It's just, I mean, I think the animation looks good. Even, 20 years later, I think the animation still holds up pretty well. It's just, my spiel from the beginning of the show. But like I said, I wasn't not having fun. I guess I could say that.
Yeah, it was okay. I feel like it did the episodic mysteries pretty well. Like I said, it just didn't feel like anything special to me.
Now, if there was a dude in a rubber mask, though,
Maybe then it would feel
Trying-
special to me. I don't know.
trying to do a real estate scheme.
It has to be a real estate scheme for sure. That was what was missing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember some of the ones that I remember stuff about, like, there was one with a genie and the Sandman, and...
Totally Spies crossover.
There was that, yeah.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
Because I think the creator of the show also made Totally Spies.
The animation's definitely the same.
That's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It was literally the same animation company.
Yeah. I think, because we don't get to this one because it's in season 2, but there was... I mean, the running joke with Martin, other than the fact that he's annoying and thinks he's very smart and really isn't, is that he's a huge movie buff, and he always equates every single mystery that they're involved in with a movie he's seen, more or less. And it's never right. Except for one and only one time. There was like I think it was called Monster Movie Mayhem or something very alliterative like that. And... essentially, it was like there was some sort of celestial phenomena with like the moon aligned with like whatever, something. And it activated a curse that brought like fictional things to life. And like back in the day when the curse had started, it was like, oh, you know, the monsters from books and stuff would come to life, or creatures of legend. Well, the legends and stories today are like movies. So all the movie monsters he like loved watching all came to life, and he had to fight all of them. But he knew every single way to beat them because he'd watched the movies 100 times.
It's fun.
Yeah, no, it's the
Is
cinephile's
that like your
like,
ultimate fantasy?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that because the guy who plays Martin, Sam Vincent, he was Double D and then Nettie. And so I just kept thinking of Ed, another character from that show who always loved talking about monsters and had delusions of monsters all the time in the show.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny because like not the whole thing, but both him and Diana were both in Zoids as well. This is Bit and what's her face? Lena? Was that her name?
Lena.
Yeah. So ironic that his stepsister is Barbie, because I'm sure he thinks he's a Ken, but we all know he's a Pete.
I'm just Ken, anywhere else I'd be 10. I'm just Pete and I like jugs.
I'm trying to think of like a lot of this is like a Canadian production. I'm not as familiar with a ton of the people in this, so I can't really speak to. I know that Martin and Billy the alien are like the same person. Other than that. Oh, yeah, they're the same voice actor.
Oh, for a second I was like...
Oh, yeah, so Martin time travels from the blah, 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 and that's why he's a tiny... No. Actually,
what if?
Billy's backstory is actually pretty different. He's got a whole thing going on.
Okay.
Do you want me to spoil it?
Apparently there are a lot of backstories going on later in the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we meet, like, Martin's dad, who's basically, like, a clone of him, but, like, with a goatee.
Hey.
But he's actually cool. Like he's Indiana Jones.
Actually hates all the paranormal stuff.
Oh yeah, he doesn't believe a single thing of it, and he thinks his son's just an idiot.
Oh my god.
Which is kind of fantastic.
And Martin is very mean to his stepmom.
I don't remember being the stepmom. Was that the same episode?
No.
Okay. I don't think I saw the full series when it was coming out. But to be fair, it was also very easy to pop in and out of it and not miss anything.
Yeah. Like, I would assume maybe they had a better relationship until his dad got remarried and Martin couldn't help being a dick to Diana and her mother.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Honestly, for like the first 2 episodes, I just thought that him and Diana were just like childhood friends that just always, were the trope of arguing all the time. And in the back of my head, I thought, oh no, they're going to make them fall for each other by the end of the show. And then in episode 3, they said, hey, I'm not going to mess with you, sis, or something like that. Yeah. So I had to look it up. It's like, okay, there's step siblings, which if they were in Japan, that'd be completely different. But in America, we're fine there.
Okay, first off, not America. This is Canada, and they did present us with Life with Derek, which also had a...
Life with Derek.
Yeah, so...
Look, no.
That
The two in real
also
life
have
liked
that
each
one
other.
Folgers commercial.
Oh, the
Whoa.
Folgers
Folgers
commercial.
your cop.
We can get off this subject if we want to.
I clocked that immediately because I'm like, this seems like the type of guy to hit on any female that breeds.
Mm-hmm. Dead on.
And he's not going for her. There must be something
Yeah,
there.
must
They
be.
have to be like siblings or something. For some reason, she's off limits.
Yeah,
Besides
he's
her being annoying.
I mean, I don't think that would really stop him that much. Though, tags on Pornhub might.
My man was really down bad for that one girl in the second episode because he literally accidentally kissed her in the hallway, and it was like a
Jenny.
cheek kiss. Yeah, and he was a chick, and it was a cheek kiss, and he kept that lipstick mark on until the very end of the episode.
I feel like they
I read
usually
a fanfic
had
like that once.
They're supposed to be like 15, right?
16, 17, something like that. He can drive, like, legally.
Right.
So he has to be at least 16, unless the laws are different in Canada, but I don't know.
He's actually 11 years old.
Yeah, so Billy time travels, and then did they do a time travel episode? That feels like something that's right up this show's alley. Though it might be too complicated for them to do properly.
You're asking the wrong person.
I have a question. Kind of going back to the dad and not believing in anything. It seems like the organization, like the center, it's not really a secret because everyone knows to call them.
I don't know
So
if
why
they
the
explain
frick
that.
would his dad not believe?
See, I think it might be a situation of more like the center is able to find paranormal activity stuff. They're probably like doing a Big Brother situation of like monitoring everybody's calls and stuff. So whenever you call the police about like, oh, some alien picked up my brother or whatever, they show up just because like, yeah, we heard about this and we're going to like check it out and see if something's actually going on kind of deal, which makes this seem like an even more frightening place. But I don't know. That was my assumption.
Plot twist, they're like Men in Black, you just don't see it, where at the end of every
Exactly.
situation they have somebody come in, erase their memories.
I always wonder about, like, would you need to all the time? Like, for certain events, yeah, like, too many people see it, but, like, a lot of these seem like smaller, more individual cases, kind of like remote, out of the way kind of thing. Like, let's take the second episode, for example. If the dad and the daughter told the press about, like, we were attacked by prehistoric flying insects that put us in cocoons, no one would believe them. No one. I mean, that's, there's a theory that the only reason that, like, people out in the boonies get, like, abducted by aliens is because, yeah, no one will believe them. Not enough people around to see it. And, like, the aliens are specifically aware of that.
Yeah, but when they show up, they're always like, oh, I'm the paranormal investigator sent from the center. And these people know what the center is at that point in time to be like, oh, okay.
I mean, in Ghostbusters 2, there were several people that are like, I don't believe in ghosts. All that nonsense that happened with the giant marshmallow man, mass hallucination because of a gas leak.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Also, like, mom just showing up at the end of every episode to then leave without them and be like, find your own way home, losers.
I'm pretty sure she gives them a teleporter or something.
I don't know.
I mean, Billy kind of seems to basically take care of all that.
But she just shows up at the end of every episode. Why?
Does the school know they're employed?
Doubtful.
How do they get away with missing
They're
classes?
They're definitely not legally employed. They are
Oh,
not
yeah.
getting paid. I guarantee it.
Okay. Does the school know that they have an unpaid internship?
Probably not.
I don't think
What is their excuse for missing, like, every other day of school?
I'm pretty sure like the center just hacks the school system and is like, yeah, no, they attended that class. That's fine.
they send in body doubles.
I wouldn't put it past them.
But yeah, like, the center has no employees. They are all working for free.
They could take over the world if they wanted. Like, I know like we all have the vision of the Men in Black of like the from the movies and that, but apparently in the comics it was very different, and the Men in Black, like the leadership of them, were actually trying to control the world through like all the mystical and like technological means that they got from the occult stuff that they were investigating and the aliens and everything else. I could see the center absolutely fucking with everybody if they wanted to, but that's just a theory.
Not really, because they can't afford to pay employees.
They can afford to, but will they? They won't. Maybe it's a stipend. Maybe their scholarship is their payment. Maybe they are student athletes. I don't know. This feels like one of those threads on a sweater. You just keep pulling until the whole thing falls apart a little bit.
I mean,
It's like the military. We'll pay for your college if you come work for us.
it's a very loosely knit sweater in
Probably.
the first place.
But still, it's a fun, ugly sweater. And yeah, like, I mean, I don't think these are questions that any of the regular viewership probably would ever bring up. Because, you know, why would they?
They're
Most of them
8.
were like 7.
Yeah, no, like, they're a child, and I feel like it was more than likely targeted at boys. And in our generation, that means a lot of ADHD.
I mean, that was definitely me.
This show moves very fast.
Yeah. Like, get to the point. We'll get our little setup in the school for 2 minutes. After our cold open where someone gets killed, possibly, maybe, but not really, reduced to slime, something like that. And then let's go find slime and monsters. Like, what more
And
do
then
you
it's
need?
done.
Waste your time with origin stories and whatnot.
Exactly. Throw it in the theme song.
Ah,
Gotta
maybe.
listen to it anyway. This was before TiVo.
I kind of like the theme song here. I don't know about anybody else. It's got like the instrumental kind of element of like X-Files, but at the same time, it's kind of like fun and upbeat.
Mm.
Didn't like it.
I literally don't remember how it went.
It's like X-Files, but like someone put a little bit of a guitar riff under it. Not exactly like X-Files, but
I don't think Cece has seen X-Files either.
I know the meme. The song is a meme.
yeah. What other thoughts do we have about this?
I don't think it's aged great.
How so?
Just in, like, how well it holds up. Like, yeah, the animation is fine, but, like, the storytelling, the pace, the characters, it's all just kinda...
I can kind of see what you're saying. I don't feel like any of it's like feels dated or anything like that, or like it also doesn't feel like necessarily like a product of its time, which I feel like is usually what people will say about stuff that hasn't aged particularly well. I just don't know. Like,
but, like, we're the nostalgia generation, right? Like, we love to go back to, like, things from our childhood, and I don't actually necessarily feel like having watched these episodes, it's something I would want to come back to, you know?
I can kind of see what you're saying there, and I think like it might have been a little bit like what Yin said, where it's like in time we've seen better stuff essentially, and like I could look at something like, you could say like Gravity Falls could be a better version of this, like with the couple people investigating like weird paranormal stuff and just kind of monster of the week element kind of things happening, but at the same time it's like that show also had like an overall plot and some more stuff going on.
to say an overarching story.
Yeah, that can kind of draw you in a little bit more, or like Scooby-Doo, or there's a bunch of other shows like this that maybe do each of these individual elements a little bit better, perhaps, and maybe that's why. Maybe we're just spoiled with good stuff in this department every now and then, and maybe that's why it's kind of fallen through the cracks a little bit. But I'm not sure.
Also, Martin gives me, like, Johnny Test vibes.
He does kind of look
Like,
He gives me Guy Fieri,
like.
but like,
how dare you
before-
slander Guy Fieri like that?
he's Guy Fieri before he found Flavor Town and became true Guy Fieri. You
No.
must find Flavor
How dare
Town
you.
before you can have true flavor.
Can we hold a vote to kick Al off of his own channel?
When did Johnny Test come out? I feel like that was around the same time.
Oh,
or like
yeah,
maybe
no, that
a
was
few years
definitely later.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think it
I
was
feel
2007, I want to say.
It's
Really?
still kind of in that era
Not
a little
over.
bit, though.
Thought it was
Like
before
through
that.
high school when that came out.
Yeah, it's definitely
Johnny-
something like my younger
2005.
siblings watched.
Yeah.
2005?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
I mean, I feel like reruns ran for a pretty long time.
Yeah, it ran from 2005 to 2014.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Yeah.
pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah, it
How
had
many
six
episodes?
seasons. It had 6 seasons, 117 episodes, but that was broken down into 234 segments.
It feels like way too much of that show. Oh, it wasn't terrible.
It was made by the same guy that created Ned's Declassified, Scott Fellows, and you could tell because there's a sound effect every 5 seconds.
That is definitely true.
I never actually watched Johnny Test.
Eh,
You know what? It's for your own benefit.
you could watch worse. You could watch a lot better.
I don't know that you missed a lot, but I would say of the two shows just mentioned here, I would watch Ned's Declassified.
I had a feeling, yeah.
And
That's
he
a good
also,
show.
I know we're going way off topic in Patreon content, but Scott Fellows also created Big Time Rush, so the economy of
Oh, God.
Was that something you watched?
I knew of it. I didn't actually watch it, but I remember they advertised it all the time, and they would have their songs on like commercial breaks or something.
Never particularly listened to it.
I
Wasn't my
actually
style.
wanted boy bands to come back.
Yeah.
So, like, I was really excited, and then they kind of were just, like, lame.
They really were.
Can I ask?
I was an
were
All-Star
they-
Weekend fan, and for some reason we had this weird beef for no reason with Big Time Rush, so I refused to watch it.
Well, wasn't All-Star Weekend Disney?
All-Star Weekend
Yeah,
was
that
Disney.
was
part of
It
it.
was
Disney.
Disney.
I've never
Nick.
even heard of that.
I don't think the Big Time Rush girls cared about All-Star Weekend or the rivalship. I think this was like a one-sided thing.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that sounds very on par for Disney.
What is
kids.
All-Star
I
Rush?
had All-Star Weekend's album. I remember that one.
They were my favorite.
They-
I've seen them in concert 3 times.
Really?
2 of those were on my birthday.
That was like my childhood. I remember the princess song.
How have I never even heard of this?
Hey, princess.
Nothing.
It was
Nothing.
good. It was good stuff.
Okay. To your question that was essentially like, you know, the trying to bring the boy bands back, but oh, they were just lame. Were they ever not lame a little bit? Even back in the day?
I mean, you could honestly, look at it this way. You could say, you know, what started the modern boy band craze was probably, you know, the 90s stuff like Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block, but then you can trace back their origins to the Beatles because they were like the first big major boy band that had people swoon for them. So
Something
can trace
feels
their origin.
wrong. I'm hearing the logic in what you're saying, but it just sounds so wrong hearing it said.
I mean, they were a boy band. It's kind of true.
Are they?
I feel like I want to fight you, but I don't know
At
why.
least-
No,
Early
they did like the
days.
performance aspects too.
I feel like boy bands don't play their own instruments, though.
That's another
Some
element.
of them do.
That's fair because they're usually too busy performing.
Yeah, they all have to dance and sing.
Yeah.
But like the Beatles danced and sung.
Yeah, there was that.
I guess
Did
except the
they
guy in the
dance?
drums.
Did they dance?
Is that Ringo? No, Ringo
They
was
they
the
kinda
just-
drummer, right?
How was the
swayed back and
instruments?
forth. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't remember the Beatles really dancing.
I don't think they danced.
Might be crazy here.
So maybe they're not a boy band. How do we define boy band?
I have the
I
answer,
don't
but in
know,
a minute.
but I know it when I see it.
So the Beatles doesn't qualify to you.
Anyways,
I don't think so. I call them soft rock at this point.
Soft
boy
rock.
bands were definitely not lame. I mean, you can look at like fucking any of the K-pop groups right now.
Yeah, K-pop boy bands are, you know, some of them are pretty good. But I don't know. I was never a big fan of like NSYNC or anything like that.
Oh man, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys had a huge fucking rivalry going on.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Oh yeah,
Like you
my
had to like one or
aunt
the other.
tried to. She was like 16 when I was born. She was trying to induct me to be an NSYNC fan, but I was standing with my mom. I'm like, no, I'm a New Kids girl, thanks.
How did we get on this?
Because Big Time Rush.
Nickelodeon.
was-
Oh.
because somebody mentioned Johnny Johnny Test, and then I mentioned the creator, and I mentioned what other stuff he made, and then you know we do what we always do in conversations. Go on Patreon
I'm-
content.
It's so
It's
I'm
okay,
just-
Chibi's not here to annoy.
I'm just sad we went off on this and not on to Ned's Declassified. That was the real gem. But
I'm
That's
glad we
neither here
had
nor
this
there.
this All-Star Weekend conversation.
what is...
I'll show you later. I'll show you later.
Am I going to even enjoy
I mean,
this?
Probably
if we
not.
want to do a retrospective episode on NC Classified in the future, we can go right ahead.
I will
But,
throw out there, it is basically anime.
yeah, there is a lot of anime elements to it. I will say that.
I
Huh.
don't know. Maybe at some point.
Is it a slice of life?
Ned's Declassified?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Slice of life.
It's like Nichijou.
Oh.
Am I crazy?
I love
But
Nichijou.
isn't it a little bit?
I
It's the
mean,
equivalent.
there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in that
Yeah.
school. I mean, one of the main characters has a rivalry with a fucking weasel that isn't a weasel. It's a ferret, but we're just
Isn't
gonna ignore
another
that.
character also a robot?
Yes,
I feel like there's
Very
a lot
much
of
so.
overlap here.
Huh. I would definitely like to
main
explore
guy and the
this.
main girl get
You
together.
would like to what?
Yeah, I feel like Al in his head is like bargaining about what he could cut out of the lineup for this month right now.
Watch Ned's Declassified.
I mean, I'm just going to watch Ned's Declassified just because I love the show. But, you know, whether we
I
talk
haven't
about it or
seen
not
it
is
if that's
entirely different.
incentive.
Oh! Do we have other things to say about Martin?
He's a fuckboy, but without any charm, so I don't really like him.
I reiterate the Pete.
Java best boy.
Yeah, Java was fine. I like Java.
Yeah, he was okay.
I would say at the very least, you're going to watch more. Like, I'll give this a light yay. I still have some, it might be nostalgia that I was just like, I did enjoy this when I was a kid, but I would say this is still a pretty fun show. If nothing else, go watch the second season episode where they, all the movie monsters come to life. But, yeah, that's my thought.
This was extremely meh to me. I was pretty neutral throughout, so yeah, I'm just gonna give it a meh.
Yeah, same for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just kind of there.
Yeah. It's very fast and loud and crazy, and sometimes that can work for me, but sometimes I need it to be a little chill so I can do other things at the same time. It's a meh.
Also a meh. I would give it like a nay, except I had a lot of fun screaming at the TV, like, oh my god, Barbie, calm the fuck down. It's like, sometimes you don't really recognize her voice, but it sounded like Barbie in this one.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so that's it for that. We did bring up something else that was almost anime as well that is very similar to this because it was made by the exact same people. Totally Spies. You guys just want to watch that next week?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Totally Spies next week, and then more stuff to come. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!